Last visit of the year for 2024. St. Catharines Mayor Mat Siscoe. Is that why you're all dressed up and looking fine this morning?
No, I never get dressed up for you.
I was gonna say, no. What's the occasion?
I am immediately after this. I'm driving as quickly as traffic will allow me to Queen's Park for a meeting with the Premier this morning. So.
Oh, okay. Don't you have one of those lights, your mayor lights, that you could put on the car or something like that, get you through traffic?
No, the mayor of Oakville actually offered to have the Halton Regional Police escort me through Halton, but I said that's okay. I think we'll be okay today. HOV lanes are your friend.
Okay. Can I ask what it's about?
It's related to encampments.
Okay, so that's that kind of transitions into 2024 because that's an issue in so many cities, and St. Catharines was involved in that as well.
Yeah, it's been a difficult year. I mean, we've definitely seen an increase in the number of encampments in our community, and a number of us have been saying, like, we need better tools to be able to actually deal with encampments. The Premier had a good letter last week to us, saying that he's heard what we're saying, and we're expecting for there to be, legislation and other pieces that can help us understand exactly what we can do. I've said from the beginning, and I've tried to be very clear, like nobody that I know is talking about, well, just tear down the encampments and let them fix. No, we recognize people have to live somewhere, but we have to have some control as a municipality about where those things happen. And when they're popping up next to elementary schools or underneath playground equipment or leaned up against people's backyards, sitting in front of businesses on Main Street, like that's not okay. So, from our city standpoint, we're going to keep working on that while we keep pushing Niagara Region because they're the ones responsible for shelters and for supportive housing. I'm going to keep pushing them to build more. I tried at the budget last week to get a seasonal shelter opened up, and my colleagues said, no, we're not going to do that. Well, okay, but you've got to give people an option.
But you got the temporary shelter. That's a big thing that happened this year.
We did, and I pushed hard, right from sort of day one of getting elected as mayor for some form of temporary shelter that's going to transition into a permanent shelter at some point. But that was big news for the community this year, and it has helped get 50 people out of encampments, and it has transitioned people into permanent housing and supportive housing, and that's what we needed. Frankly, we need more of that, and I'm going to keep going at Niagara Region because that's where those dollars are, and they're the ones who make the decision. I just have to convince my regional colleagues. Disappointments,
2024.
The hardest thing probably was just this week and losing Councillor Garcia.
My condolences.
Yeah, it was a shock, I think, to everybody on our council. He was a really exceptional human being. He was my budget chair. And I tell people, like, we didn't agree on a lot of things, but we could sit down in the mayor's boardroom and he'd have his agenda and he'd go through all the items, and we get to the end and sometimes our voices would raise and we would be frustrated with one another, but at the end he said to me once he appreciated how we could have the conversation, and when we were done, and we could then go out and cat's caboose and have a beer afterwards. We were just I'm very lucky to have known him and have had the chance to work with him. He was my colleague for 10 years, and he's going to be missed.
Condolences to you and to his family. Yeah. We have a viewer question. You want to get to that?
Yeah, sure.
Kevin has a question for Mr. Mayor Mat Siscoe, and he's asking about the downtown builds. What about all the large tower projects in the downtown, and when construction will begin? Nothing is happening in St. Catharines.
So I would push back, and I would say that stuff is definitely happening in St. Catharines, but in the downtown, he's 100% correct. We have the one build on Carlisle, which is almost nearing completion. That should be done in the spring of next year, but there are a number of other projects in various states. The truth is, this has been a very difficult year for the building industry. When I talk to my friends in the Niagara home builders, when I talk to folks in the development industry, it's interest rates and, supply and demand and the supply chains, the prices, everything has it's been a perfect storm of terrible for the housing industry. Mm-hmm. Everybody I talk to says that 2025 will be the year, and we are fully expecting that. And from our side, we're bringing in incentives to try and get people to get shovels in the ground. We know we need purpose-built rental. Yeah. Some of those towers are going to be purpose-built rental. We're doing everything in our power. And with the interest rate cut yesterday, like I've been telling people for months, pray for interest rate cuts. We got another half a point yesterday, so 50 basis points to 3.25. Everybody in the development industry has been saying, like, we need to wait until rates get to a point where people want to pre-buy. Pre-sales can restart again. And so I fully admit, we wish more of these projects were in the ground right now, but they're coming, and we're confident of that.
There's something great downtown, Fat Rabbit. We were there last Thursday, right?
Yes.
Michelin recognized. I was your guest for lunch. Fabulous spot.
Yeah, and I mean, you had a chance to meet Zach at the end. It's a phenomenal spot. The food is spectacular. I will say it's not the only wonderful new business in downtown. We also have Sugar and Butter, and I may have.
Whoa! Look at this. Sorry, I'll get out there. Look at these cookies that you brought. I might have dabbled and tested them.
It's entirely possible that the last time I was here, I was given grief because it was your birthday and I didn't bring gifts for the crew. So I thought, you know what?
Sound like us.
It's the Christmas season. I will stop by with some goodies from my friends at Sugar and Butter, downtown St. Catharines, just off of James Street. It is one of my favorite spots. Although I will never say I have a favorite anywhere because that gets me in trouble with all of the other spots.
I bet so. We will mention too that Dio Daddy did not bring anything for us in his visit on Tuesday. So
not surprising.
Point for you.
Not surprising.
Ice Dogs quickly up and down year, like they were the worst team in the country at the beginning of the year, or last season.
Last season was rough. It was difficult. I've been a season ticket holder. It was tough to go to games. This year, complete turnaround. Like so much fun to watch. So many goals, and I'll say Ben Boudreau is the coach. If he doesn't win Coach of the Year, I don't think they should hand the award out to anybody because he has turned that club around, and I really have enjoyed watching, Kevin He and Ryan Rubrick and the whole 9 yards. And you know what? We beat the Brantford Bulldogs on Sunday.
Kevin Davis on tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's something to say about that.
It's funny. He only doesn't text me back when I text him about the fact that the Ice Dogs have won the game. And I texted him the scoreboard. I said, don't worry, the good guys won again. Admittedly, we had like a 2,000-day streak where we hadn't beat the Brantford Bulldogs. So he's had plenty to laugh about. But
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
Happy
you.
To you and the family and everybody in St. Catharines. Get going to Queen's Park.
All right.
Look, the mayor's going to Queen's Park. Let him through if he's driving by. More Morning Live coming up on your Thursday right after this.